Okay, so today I'm going to go over how to make a video of your PowerPoint presentation. And you can do this all within PowerPoint, at least on a Windows machine. That's what I'm using right now. Haven't tested it on a Mac, but if it works on a Mac, leave a comment down below. So you can let everybody else know. So basically, you can see I have a PowerPoint that I've created here. In PowerPoint, I have just four very, very basic slides just for demonstrational purposes. And with each one of those slides, I do have a transition because in this video that you're going to make for your PowerPoint, transitions and stuff will come over and work in that video and stuff. They'll show up. So first of all, you have to make your whole PowerPoint, right? Once you've done that and you're ready to record, you can go ahead and just go to the slideshow at the top here in this bar. So go to slideshow and you can see record slideshow. And when we do this, we're going to get this whole menu here. And if your screen doesn't look like this, it's probably because you're using a older version of PowerPoint, maybe one from like 2017 or something that's downloaded on your computer, and you need the newest version of PowerPoint or Office 365 if that's what you subscribe to. So you have to go and make sure all of that's updated to the newest version and everything for this to look the same as it does on mine. That's what I had to go and do. If you would like a video on how to go and update it so you can get to this correct version, leave a comment down below that you would like to see that, and I can go ahead and make a video on how to do that so you can get the right version downloaded so you can use this. Now let's get started. And you can see our slideshows here, and here I am off my webcam on my laptop here. If you have an external webcam, you can use that too. So the first thing I'm going to go over is kind of all the buttons we see on the screen here first, and then I'll go into actually recording the presentation, and then we'll go and show you how to edit any of those recordings, how to move this box around the slide if you want to, and the few different options you have to actually save this and send it off to where you need to send it to or who you need to send it to. So first we're going to start in the top left. You can see you have the record button, stop button, and replay button. So whenever you're ready to record, you can start recording, but we'll go over that in a minute. We have notes here. And if we click on notes, if we had notes for any of these slides, they would pop up here and you can change the font. Okay. Those notes won't show up in the recording. They're just for your purposes here, for you making the recording, but when you send it off to people, they won't see this box pop up. So you can have this open while you're recording or closed. It's whatever works better for you. Now the clear button here, if we click on, if we had anything recorded, we could clear recordings on the current slide we're on, or we could clear recordings on all of the slides, okay? So what that means is basically how this works is it's gonna record a video and audio file for each individual slide. So when you're recording and you'll be on slide 1, you'll do that, you'll click over to the next slide and it'll actually start a new recording, and you'll kind of see it do that as we go and actually record stuff here. So that's really kind of nice because say you have a 10 slide presentation and you're on slide 9 and you make a mistake. You can just edit that video on slide 9 and not have to redo the whole presentation, right? You can clear that video on the current slide and re-record it if you want to. And we'll go over that when we record stuff as well. Then you have your settings here. So if you click on that, you can see you have microphone and camera settings. So if you have an external microphone like I do, you want to make sure that's selected. Or if you have an external webcam that's not built into your laptop that you have plugged in, you want to make sure that is selected as well. So that's where you do that. Then you have your back and forward buttons to go forward and back slides. You can also still use the arrow keys on your keyboard if you want to. Down here, you have, what slide you're on, out of how many. And down here, once we start recording, you'll see how much time we've taken to record and things like that. Down here, you have a bunch of different options. You have a laser pointer, which you can kind of go and use, and this will show up in the final version here of the recording. So you can use this to kind of help point out stuff in your slides instead of just using the cursor. The laser pointer is a little bit easier typically to see because it's red and it doesn't blend in with as much. You have an eraser, you have a pen and a highlighter. If you click the pen, right, you can draw or write or whatever you want. You can change the color if you want to. Down here with these options, you can click the eraser and erase it. You also have a highlighter so you can highlight different points. And you have different highlighter colors that may adjust depending on the background you have. So keep that in mind too. And you can also erase that stuff. And then down here, you can see that's me right at the moment. And you can have this if you want it, if you think it adds more to your presentation. But if you don't want your recorded video here and you just want the audio, you can turn off the camera and the camera goes away, right? And I can turn it back on. So that's how you kind of mute your camera or turn off your camera. And then you have your microphone here, which you can mute if you want to. If you'd rather just have nothing in this and you just want to record basically the presentation. But you don't. But if you're here and you want to record, you probably at least want your audio. Now, these two buttons, when you're actually recording, will be grayed out. Okay, so you won't be able to mess with these while you're recording. So do keep that in mind. The one you will be able to is this turn off the preview. So you can see that hides me and it brings it back on. This will only hide it for you. It will not actually hide your video in the recording. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is once you're done recording, this box where you see me in, you'll actually be able to move it to a different corner pretty much anywhere on the slide itself. So if you're blocking something right here in the bottom right-hand corner of your presentation with this video, just remember that once you're done with all your recordings, we can go and move that box so it's not covering up and you can resize it and things like that, which I will show you later on in the video. So now we're going to go ahead and actually start recording. And I'm going to show you how it works and talk about some best practices and things like that when you're recording this. So I'm going to select record and it'll give us a countdown here. Now it's actually recording and you can see that by the red dot in the top of my image here. You can see it's recording. You can also see down here our time is adding up. We've been going for about 16 seconds. You can pause the recording or you can stop the recording. Okay. You can pause it whenever you want to or stop it kind of whenever you want to and restart it if you need to. So now we've been talking on this first slide and time while we've been recording. This will actually be part of the video later. So now we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. But when you go to the next slide, remember it's going to have to start a new video file. So it's going to stop this one and start the next one automatically. But that takes a second and you'll actually see this red dot will go away and then come back. So when you're recording this, just make sure you also take a pause between talking or else it's going to cut off some of the video and audio and some of the words that you've been saying if you don't take that pause along with the program itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click next to go to slide 2. And you can see that red dot kind of went off for a second. And again, you can write and do whatever and that'll show up in the video. You can highlight your laser pointer movements and stuff will move around too. And you'll see that all when we go back over the recording later. And now you can see how long we've been going on the new slide and our total time of our recording overall, right? Remember, it records a new video file and stuff for each slide. And you can see the transition, right, showed up there. So your transitions will show up. And again, remember to pause in between. And again, I can hide the camera view if I want to and bring it back if I want to. And then we're going to go to the fourth slide. And, talk about whatever you need to on the fourth slide. And then we're going to go, you can even click at your notes. Remember, right, this shouldn't show up in the video, just show up for you recording right now. So you can look at your notes if you need to. And now we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to click stop because we're totally done. So there you go. We've clicked stopped. And what I can do is I can hit replay and it should replay the slide we're on currently so you can see your recording. And, talk about whatever you need to on the fourth slide. And then we're going to go, you can even click at your notes. Remember, right, this shouldn't show up in the video. It'll just show up for you recording right now. So you can look at your notes if you need to. So there you go. You can see the recording for the fourth slide there. And you can do that with any of the slides you want to. Okay. And if you want to go back to the other slides, make sure you hit stop. We can go look at the other slides and replay any of those. And you can see that red dot kind of went off for a second. And again, you can write and do whatever, and that'll show up in the video. You can highlight your laser pointer movements and stuff will move around too. And you'll see that. So, right, so you can see you can kind of go replay any of them. And again, remember, you can't go to the next slide and stuff when in replay mode, so hit stop, and then you can go. So you can also, if you want to, you can re-record any of these slides, right? So if you don't like what you have on slide 3, but all the other slides are okay, you just make sure you're on slide 3. And what you go to is you click clear and clear recordings on current slides. Not all slides, current slides, unless you want to redo the whole thing. So we're just going to do it for this slide. So you can see slide 3. This is now me live down here. It's not the actual recording. So now I can go ahead and re-record slide 3. Give us a countdown. So now I'm re-recording slide 3, right? And we gave it a second to do the transition and everything before we started talking. Again, you can hide your box and all those things. So we've re-recorded slide 3, and that's how it's going to show up in the final presentation. And I'm going to make sure I hit stop once I'm done. And there we go. And if we hit preview, so now I'm re-recording slide 3, right? And we gave it a second to do the transition and everything before we started talking. There we go. So you can see we've re-recorded slide 3 there. So we should be good. Again, make sure you click stop. So that's basically everything that you can do within here. Okay, so that's how you record all of it if you want to. The next step we're going to go over is how do you move this box around, and then how do you save this and send it off to the people that need to see it. So we're all done in here. We just go ahead and click the close button, the X button in the top right. There we go. And you can see this is normal PowerPoint, but now we have the video files here on each slide. Okay. So we have all of that if we want it. So now you can click on this, the boxes here, and you can play it by the red dot. And right? So you can play those video files again and make sure they're right. You can move them to wherever you want. You can resize it if you want to, make it even smaller if you want to, and put it down here. And you can go ahead and do that for each one. We'll put him over here, right? You can even have it in the middle if you want to. Basically, whatever you want. So you can go ahead and resize that if you want to. Another thing you can do is when you send this off to people, if you save it as just a normal PowerPoint file and send it to them, it's going to look like this, right? Just like you would send them a normal PowerPoint, and they'll see all this. And when they play the slideshow, we'll just hit down here. We'll start it. It's going to automatically start playing that video. By the red dot in the top of my image here. So
you can see it's recording.
It'll play this.
You can also see down
and they
here.
can skip ahead too
Pause.
if they want to.
I'm going to go ahead and click next to go to slide 2.
Right. So now they're going to click next. They have to physically click next to go to slide 2. Okay. And then when they go to the next slide,
kind of went off for a second.
you'll see the video in the top left automatically started. When they go to the next slide, it'll do the same thing. It'll automatically start that video. So we'll exit out of that. So if you don't want that video to automatically start every time they go to a new slide, you go to the slide, you click on the video, there's video format, and from here, you can go, or actually you want to go to playback, I'm sorry, not format, you want to go to playback. And here you can see start, when clicked on, when they click on the video, or automatically, which is what it defaults to. So you can mess with that if you want to. I'm going to leave it on automatic just because whenever they go to the next slide, I don't want them to have to click on the video or anything. I just want it to start. Okay. So you can save this. So you can save this as a normal PowerPoint file and send it off if you want to. And they'll be able to present it and do whatever like normal PowerPoint. But if you just want it to be a straight up video, you want it to be an MP4 file, a straight up video, so when they click on it, it opens up in their media player, not in PowerPoint, and just plays like a recorded video, you can do that too. So once you've done all of this, when you go to File, instead of saving, you're actually going to go to Export. And you're going to select Create a Video. And from here, you have resolution options. The lower the resolution, the lower the image quality, but the smaller the file size is going to be. I'm going to leave it at 1080 because that's what I want. Seconds spent on each slide and things like that don't really matter. What matters is the use recording timings and narrations. You want to leave that on because that's what we just recorded in that other screen is the timings and narrations. That's what they call it. So that's what we've recorded and we want all of that to stay. So you want to keep that there. And you're going to select Create Video. And you'll see that we'll go and save it. And I'll click Save. Once you've clicked Save and you saved it where you wanted it to, you'll see Creating Video Test. That's the name of the file. And it's going to take a while here. So the important thing to remember, whether you're saving this as a normal PowerPoint or you're saving this as a video file like I am right now, is the longer your videos are on each slide and the more slides you have, the bigger those files are going to be, whether you save it as a video or a normal PowerPoint file. So that could get tricky when you're trying to email this file to someone. So if you do all of this work and then you try to email it and it won't let you because the file size is too big, you can either, one, if you're saving it as a video, try to lower the quality. Or the best option would probably be like if you use Google Drive or Microsoft's OneDrive or something like that. Like upload it to Google Drive and share it via Google Drive, because that shares it via a link and the person clicks on the link and it takes them to the video. They can either download it if they want to, or they can just play it straight from there. That way you're not actually sending the whole file over an email. Sometimes that just doesn't work because the file size will be way too big. And as we can see how long this is taking, this file is probably going to be too big to send over an email. So I would have to upload it to Google Drive, which could take a bit, and then share it via Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever you or your company, whatever cloud storage platform you or your company currently uses. So once this is done, I'll go ahead and show you what the video file looks like when we go ahead and click on it. So I'm just going to let this go, and we'll be back once it's done. It's going to take a minute. So now it's done exporting. So I'm going to actually go and just close out of PowerPoint. And we can see here I have the video, and I actually just have the normal PowerPoint. So if I just open the normal PowerPoint file that I also saved, you can see everything is still here. The videos are still here. I can go and make whatever changes I want to. I can even go back into the recording and adjust things if I want to, go re-record things, clear things, whatever it may be. I'm going to close out of that again. And now we can see the video, the full, just normal video that we also exported. You can see it's an MP4 file, and it'll start playing in a video player. So you can see here, it's just a normal video.
By the red dot in the top. But when you go,
and I'll just kind of click ahead and you can kind of see, right, our laser pointer and everything works.
Movements and stuff will move around too.
I'm going to mute that. So it all works, the writing, it all works, audio, video, everything. So if you just want it as a normal video, just for people to play, that's probably the best way to go instead of actually sending them the PowerPoint file. Unless there's someone you're working on this with and they need to go and edit it and things like that and make changes. Close out of that. So yeah, that's how you go ahead and record things in PowerPoint. If you want to, you can save it so you can come back and make changes like this. You can save it as a video if you want to and send it out that way. Again, how you send it, you can try sending it over email, but your file for either one of these is probably going to be too big. So you'll have to send it a different way via Google Drive or OneDrive or something along those lines. Hopefully this video helps, and if it does, go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this on how to make technology work better for you. Thanks.